Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the computation of the critical depth. Now earlier also we have calculated the critical depth, but only using one flow condition, but today we will discuss in some kind of details about the aspect of computation of critical depth, means how to calculate the critical depth, that is the critical flow condition for various type of channels, okay, and what are the methods and what are some relationships that you can use, okay. So we'll do that today. So first we will see the critical depth YC for a rectangular channel. Okay. So before going for the expression for critical depth for a rectangular channel, we will quickly revise as to what is the meaning of this critical flow condition. You see, basically this curve is very important for us, that is the specific energy curve, which represents the variation of specific energy and depth, okay. So in a channel, so you have a rectangular channel, suppose, okay, and in this channel you need to pass some discharge. Suppose the discharge is Q, okay, it can be any value, fix that value, and you pass it by various depths, okay. Increase the depth from very low value to very high value. How you will do that? By changing the slopes. First keep the slope very steep, you will get very low depths, then keep on flattening the slope. So you will you can increase the depth slowly, one by one, okay. So you can get several depths in this channel, and for every depth you can calculate the specific energy. E is equal to Y plus Q square by 2G A square, okay. You can calculate the flow areas, depth you know, and discharge already is fixed, okay. So you can calculate specific energy for every depth, and if you plot that specific energy on x axis with the variation of y, so what you can get, you will get a curve like this, okay. You will get the variation looks something like this, and the curve, if you observe carefully, we know that at a particular depth in the channel, at a particular depth in the channel, the specific energy value is minimum, okay. For other depths the specific energy values are more, okay, they are greater than the minimum value. But so there is one particular, only one depth for which the specific energy is minimum, okay, that is this particular condition is called as the critical flow condition, okay. This is the critical flow condition when the flow depth is critical and specific energy is minimum, okay. How to compute this critical depth? That is the question. So last time we have already seen, when the specific energy is minimum, then the condition becomes in the channel becomes Q square by G equal to A cube by T. It will be AC cube by TC or A cube by T, you can write in any ways, okay. What is that? So this is the condition for critical flow. So whenever the flow becomes critical, so suppose at this depth the flow has become critical, if you calculate the flow area will be, here it will be B into YC, okay, and top it will be B. If you put this values here, okay, so it should satisfy this condition, okay. It is the same as writing, this Froude number equal to 1. Both things are one and the same. Just you shuffle the terms, you will get Froude number equal to 1. That is, Froude number is B upon under root G D equal to 1, okay. So whenever the flow is critical flow, it will satisfy these flow conditions, okay. So this we know, okay. This was the prerequisite. Now the question is how to calculate the critical depths for various type of channels, okay. So now suppose your channel is a rectangular channel, then condition for critical flow is the condition for critical fluid derived already last time, q square by g equal to a cube by t. Okay, or Froude number equal to 1. You can use any of that, still you will get the same results. Now suppose you have a rectangular channel and flow depth is a critical depth. Okay, so normal depth itself is equal to critical depth. Flow is taking place at a critical flow condition. Then you can write area of flow as B into YC and top width as B. Okay, top width is same as that of the base width. Okay, both things are same. So put the values in this equation. What we get? Q square by G equal to A cube is B cube into YC cube. Okay, upon top width is nothing but base width. So B will get cancelled. So therefore you are going to get Q square by G equal to B square into YC cube. So if you put Q by B, what you get? Q square by B square into 1 by G equal to YC cube. Okay. Now what is this Q by B? Q by B is called as the small q. It is the discharge per unit width. What is that? Discharge per unit width. So it will be unit of q is meter cube per second per meter. Okay. How do we interpret this small q? The meaning of small q is basically if let us say 10 meter cube discharge is passing, okay, through this channel, 10 meter cube per second discharge is passing through this channel and the width of the channel is suppose 2 meters. Okay, so this is suppose 2 meters. Now see, so in every meter how much discharge is passing for every meter of flow or for every meter of the width? So you will divide 10 by 2. So 5 meter cube per second per meter is the small q. It means that this is the amount of flow that is passing per unit time in 1 meter or 1 unit of the width. Okay, that is the meaning of small q or the unit discharge. Okay, so put the value or discharge per unit width. Okay, so put the value here. So you are getting small q square by G equal to YC cube. Okay, so therefore if you take the cube root, YC is equal to cube root of small q square by G. So this condition it is better to remember because it can be useful for various problems. Okay, for solving various problems, this is a very useful formula. Okay, critical depth for rectangular channel is equal to cube root of small q square by G. But remember, we have to properly calculate the small q. Small q is capital Q by B. Total discharge divided by total width of the channel. Okay, that is will give you small q. Okay, fine. Now now we have derived the formula for critical depth. We have derived the formula for critical depth, but there is also a relation. Now there is also a relation between the minimum specific energy and critical depth. Okay, so right now what we did was, so you had this channel. Okay, I will again draw this, and specific energy was minimum at a particular depth, and that depth was critical depth. Okay, so minimum specific energy we are getting for critical depth. Okay, why is here? Now what is the relation between minimum specific energy and critical depth for this rectangular channel? Is there any relation? That we will try to find out. there is definitely a relation which is also helpful for solving the problems. So let's try to find that out. Now E minimum, see this E minimum will be equal to what? E minimum equal to, what is that? It will be Yc plus, this is the energy value, okay. So it is how much? Depth plus V square by 2g, okay. So E minimum will be Yc plus Q square by 2g A square. Basically it is V square by 2g, Vc square. I will write better for clarity, I will write it and then I will simplify. Suppose the velocity at this depth is Vc, so it will be Vc square. Vc is nothing but average velocity at critical flow, so I am writing it as Vc square by 2g. So you can write Yc plus Q square upon 2g AC square, okay, because Q is fixed. Q discharge is constant, right? This is the discharge, it's constant, not changing. So Q by A is nothing but V. So this is the expression for minimum specific energy. Now, what is the area of flow when flow is critical here in the rectangular channel? E minimum is equal to Yc plus Q square by 2g. We will replace area by B into Yc whole square, okay. Alright, so further simplification will give you Yc plus Q square by 2g B square into Yc square, okay. But what is this capital Q by B? It is small q, unit discharge. So that is nothing but Yc plus small q square 2g Yc square, okay. But what is this Q square by g? Right now we have derived. Q square by g is cube of Yc, okay. So you can replace this Q square by g, okay, by Yc, okay, critical depth. You can replace it. So the expression will become E minimum is equal to Yc plus, it will be Yc cube by 2 Yc square, okay. So that is nothing but Yc plus Yc by 2, okay. So that will be 3 by 2 Yc, okay. So this is the relationship between the minimum specific energy and critical depth for a rectangular channel specifically. This relationship only holds good for rectangular channel, okay. This formula is also very useful for solving the problems on open channel flow. So two formulas we should remember for rectangular channel. Critical depth is cube root of Q square by g small q, and minimum specific energy is 3 by 2 times the critical depth, okay. So this expressions and formulas are for rectangular channel, okay. So similar formulas we will derive now for a triangular channel, alright. Now the formulas which we derive for rectangular channel, we will derive those for a triangular channel. Okay, now see, suppose we have a triangular channel like this. Okay. So in this triangular channel, depth will go on increasing. Again here also we will get one particular depth for which specific energy is minimum. So this depth will be termed as the critical depth. Okay, let's find the formula for this critical depth for triangular section. So if the section is triangular, let's say you have a triangular section. Okay, so side slope is 1 vertical to m horizontal. This is how we have derived the formula, and suppose this is the depth, okay, which is the critical depth now. Okay, so if you put a line from the center, now as the slope is 1 vertical, m horizontal in 1 vertical, so if you go yc vertical, it will be m into yc horizontal. Okay, so this will be m yc, this will be m yc. Okay, so top width is nothing but 2m yc. Okay, what is the flow area? Flow area is very simple. It is area of these two triangles. Area of this triangle is half base into height. Okay, so it is half myc into yc and 2 times that, so it will be m yc square. And okay, and top width is 2m yc. Put these values in this expression for critical flow. This is the condition for critical flow. Just put the values. We get q square by g is equal to a cube is m yc square cube upon top width is 2m yc. Okay, go ahead further, simplify this. Q square by g is equal to, it will be m to the power 3 yc to the power 6 upon 2 m yc. Fine, now m will get cancelled, yc will also get cancelled, and what you will be left with is q square by g equal to m square into yc to the power 5 by 2. Okay, so now take yc on one side or the other terms on the other side. So we are getting two q square upon g m square equal to yc to the power 5. Okay, so yc will be equal to 2q square upon g m square to the power 1 by 5. Okay, alright, so this is the direct formula for critical depth in a triangular section. Direct formula, you can use this formula also. Okay, it's alright if you don't remember, you can anyways derive, or you can simply apply this condition also. Even if you don't remember any formula, just remember the condition for critical depth. That also will work most of the times. Alright, so this is the formula for critical depth. Now we will again try to derive the relationship between the minimum specific energy and critical depth when you have a triangular section. Okay, so specific energy E minimum, you can write it is a sum of your pressure head, that is your depth of flow, and velocity head. So velocity head is Vc square by 2g. We can replace V by Q by A, that is the average velocity. So just write E minimum is equal to Yc plus Q square upon 2g A square. A is the area of flow at critical depth. So this is the area of flow. Okay, so put the values here. So E minimum is equal to Yc plus Q square upon 2g. A is m into yc square. So put these values, m yc square of that. Okay, so E minimum is equal to yc plus. So now we have q square upon 2g m square yc to the power 4. Okay, because square again raised to square, so that is 4. Now I want to use this expression, so I will convert this terms so that in such a way that I can use this and replace it by yc. So here what I have, 2q square upon g m square. So I have g m square but I don't have q. So multiply and divide by 2 on both the numerator and denominator, you multiply by 2. So it will not affect the equation in any ways. So you can do that. E minimum is equal to yc plus 2q square upon 4 g m square yc to the power 4. Okay. Now here 2q square upon g m square is already known. It is yc, critical depth to the power 5. So we get E minimum is equal to yc plus yc to the power 5 upon 4 yc to the power 4. Okay, so what is left with us? So we are left with E minimum is equal to yc plus yc by 4. Okay, so that will be 4 plus 1, 5 by 4 yc. So this is the direct relationship between the minimum specific energy and critical depth for a triangular section. Okay, earlier we saw it for a rectangular section. For this triangular case, it is equal to 5 by 4 yc. Okay, also a very useful formula. This one can be used for solving the number of problems. Okay, if you get a triangular section. Fine. So this was all about rectangular and triangular sections where critical depth could be found directly. There is a direct explicit formula for this critical depth also. There is a direct relationship between minimum specific energy, critical depth. Okay, so up to this point it is quite simple and straightforward. The computation of critical depth is quite simple. But now we will look at how to compute critical depth for a trapezoidal section. So let's see if it is that simple or we have to do something else for that. Alright. Okay, now let's look at the same thing, critical depth for a trapezoidal section. Okay, so let us say you have a trapezoidal section. Okay, and depth is varying in this trapezoidal section for a fixed discharge, and you get minimum specific energy for this particular depth, so it will be your critical depth. Okay, how to find this depth? Okay, how to calculate? Now see, if you have a trapezoidal section, then the side slope we have already represented as 1 vertical to m horizontal. Okay, base width is represented by capital B. Okay, and depth is now yc. Okay, depth is now yc. So already we have derived this expressions. Flow area is area of this rectangle plus area of this two triangles. So that is byc plus myc square. Okay. Now what is the top width? Okay, top width is also very simple. This is capital B, the central part. Okay, and this value will be m into yc. This is also m into yc, this horizontal distance at the top. So top width is equal to b plus 2m yc. Alright, area and top width, these two things we are going to need. We need these two things. So for critical flow condition, what is the critical flow condition? For critical flow condition, which equation is to be satisfied? Q square by G equal to A cube by T. Okay, this equation has to be satisfied. Now let's just put the values of several parameters like A and T. Let's see what we get. We have Q square by G equal to, what is the flow area? It is byc plus myc square, cube of that divided by b plus 2myc. Okay. Now if you carefully look at this expression, you will realize that it is difficult, rather it is not possible to separate out yc. Okay, so you cannot form an explicit formula for yc, an explicit expression for yc. Okay, it will be an implicit expression, because on both you cannot just separate out yc on one side. Okay, so how to solve this then? See, you can solve it by the you can go for a simple way which we have done earlier also for the calculation of uniform flow, same as calculating the normal depth. The method that we followed was the trial and error method. Okay, so how to do the trial and error method? You will be knowing the discharge. Okay, so you can calculate the left hand side. This will become a number. Okay, so for just write down byc plus myc square cube upon b plus twice myc, that will be equal to a number. Q square by G is a numerical value. You will get a numerical value for this. So what you do, you select different values of yc, put it in this equation, plug it in the equation, and see if you get the left hand side equal to the right hand side. Okay, so you take different trials for yc, and there will be one value of yc for which LHS will be equal to RHS. So that will be your critical depth. So you have to go for the trial and error method if you get a trapezoidal section. Okay. Similarly, if it is a critical flow condition and you are asked to calculate any other parameter also, such as the base width or the side slope. Okay, suppose you know the critical depth but you need to calculate the base width or even the side slope, still you have to do the same thing, use the same formula, same expression, and go for different trials of B if you want to calculate the base width or side slope M, if you want to calculate M. Same procedure we will apply, trial and error method, and get the equations. Alright, so this is called as the trial and error method. Now another way of doing it, which was used quite early when computational power was limited, people used to go for graphical methods. Okay, so graphical method, we will discuss a little bit about that. Now see, your condition for critical flow is Q square by G equal to a cube by t. Okay. Now this a cube we can write, therefore we can write this as q square by g equal to a square to a by t. Okay. A by t is nothing but the hydraulic depth. So therefore we can write q square by g equal to a square into d. Okay. D is the hydraulic depth, which is equal to a by t. Okay. So this particular value, if you take the square root of both sides, we can take the square root also. So you will get q by under root g. It will be a by root d. Okay. Q by root g equal to a root of d. So this particular expression, on the right hand side is known as the section factor for critical depth. Remember, this is the section factor for critical depth. Alright, section factor for critical depth. Now how it is useful for computing the how it can be used to compute the critical depth, that we will try to understand. Okay, what is the use? How we can use this section factor for critical depth and find the critical depth, that we will see. Okay. Now see, suppose this is a particular trapezoidal section that you want to find the critical depth. Okay. For any, suppose any discharge. Okay. Any different discharge. So what you will do, see, firstly we have to understand that this section factor a into under root d is a function of what? yc. Okay, critical depth, because a is what? AC. At critical flow condition, area, hydraulic depth, both are a function of critical depth. Okay, because if you get a particular critical depth, you are going to get this particular section factor z. Okay, so this is your z. So one particular value of yc will give you one particular section factor. Okay, now how it is useful? Suppose you plot different for different critical depths, you make a plot of different section factors. Now here on the x axis I am plotting the section factor, suppose a root d. Okay, or nothing but z. Okay, a root d. Okay, for this trapezoidal section we are talking about now. Okay, for a particular one, and on the y axis let's keep the depth or critical depth. Okay, so for different discharges, see how to make a plot, make a curve first. You pass different discharges in this channel. Okay, for every channel, for every discharge you will get one critical flow condition. Okay, for every discharge you are going to get one critical flow condition, isn't it? Like this, you go on increasing the discharges, you are going to get different critical flow conditions. For every critical flow condition, you are going to get one value of section factor. Okay, for every critical depth you are going to get one section factor value. If you plot these values, suppose you get some curve like this. Okay, you plot these values on this curve. Some values you plot like this, and you connect all the points, so you will get a curve like this. Now how it is useful, how it can be used? Now suppose you get a problem, or you need to calculate this critical depth in this section for some different discharge q. It can be qp, suppose. Okay, some value of discharge, and you want to find out the critical depth. How you can do that? So first thing that you have to do is calculate the numerical value of section factor. How to do that? What is the section factor? It is q root of g. So once you know the discharge, you will get the numerical value of this section factor. You will get a number of this section factor. So go to your curve, locate that section factor value, put it on the curve, okay, put the ordinate on the curve, and then check the critical depth for which you are going to get that section factor. Okay, so that will be your critical depth for this particular discharge. So you don't need to calculate anything. You only need to calculate Q by root G. That is it, only one number. So if you know one particular number, directly you can calculate the critical depth. Okay. So this is how we make use of the graphical method or section factor also. Okay. Now this particular section factor method which we discussed here was for a particular single only a single trapezoidal section. Okay. But suppose we can also have one curve which or one graph which can be used for several different type of channels with varying, with different base weights, with different side slopes, etc. You can plot different side slopes here, okay, different base weights, different side slopes, and you can use this curve for any problem of trapezoidal section. But for that, the curve should be free from the dimensions. So the curve should be dimensionless. Okay. So for that, what you have to do, if you make a curve like this, now a to the power under root d. So if you make it non-dimensional, so divided by b, suppose b to the power 5 by 2, because area is meter square, d is meter to the power 1 by 2. So it is, yes, it will be 5 by 2. So if you divide a root d by 5 by 2, this is a non-dimensional section factor, non-dimensional z. Okay. Similarly, the depth, if you plot yc by b, this also becomes non-dimensional. So now the graph is free from the scales. This graph does not have any dimension. It is not affected by the dimensions of the problem, dimensions of the trapezoidal section. Whatever trapezoidal section you have, you take it, and still you can use this curve because it has no dimensions. So you will find the value of, suppose you have side slope m equal to 2. So select the proper curve. This is suppose m equal to 2. Okay. Then you calculate the value of what? Non-dimensional section factor. So this is your numerical value of section factor divided by, first to calculate q by root g, that will give you a under root d, but divided by b to the power 5 by 2. Okay. Divide this value, you take this value and divide by b to the power 5 by 2. So then it will be a non-dimensional section factor. So plot it on this curve, find where it is, put the ordinate on m equal to 2, side slope, proper correct side slope curve. Then you put the ordinate on this y-axis, that will give you yc by b. Okay. So critical depth will be this value multiplied by your base width of your problem. Okay. So this is how you can use the section factor approach for getting the critical flow depths. Okay. Then again people have gone ahead and calculated one more, or they make use of one more term or parameter, that is called as the first hydraulic exponent. This is an extension of the concept of section factor. So basically you have z is equal to, now see, z is a function of yc, this we know. Okay. As z will change, the critical depth will change, z will also change. Okay. So z square equal to, we can write z square equal to c1 yc to the power m. Okay. This is how the section factor can be expressed. Okay. Now in this term, the capital M is called as the first hydraulic exponent. First hydraulic exponent of critical flow. Okay. So you can also draw a curve of depth and this first hydraulic exponent, okay, because hydraulic exponent will also depend upon the critical depth, okay. So you can also make use of this term. This is an extension of the section factor concept, okay. So these are the various ways, methods and expressions for the computation of critical depth, okay. So we discussed today how to compute critical depth or critical flow for rectangular section, triangular section and trapezoidal section, okay. Next time we are going to solve some numerical problems on the same things.